The movie begins with a search party looking for a couple who mysteriously disappeared. Without knowing it, there was a strange hole at the far end of the forest where some dogs had fallen in and couldn't escape. Nearby, the dogs found a cave and drank water from it. Back with the search party, a man eventually found the dogs, but they were standing still and staring at each other in a very strange way. He took them home, yet the dogs stayed frozen in the same position. Suddenly, one of the dogs began making sounds that sounded almost human. The man's son heard the dogs barking nonstop and called his father to the barn. When he arrived, he was horrified to see the two dogs slowly merging into one body. The story then moves to a man named Tim, who is looking through old family photos. His girlfriend, Millie, arrives and tells him everyone is waiting. Tim joins the guests outside and discovers the gathering is a farewell party, as he and Millie are moving to the countryside to start a new chapter together. Unexpectedly, Millie proposes to Tim in front of everyone. Shocked, Tim thinks it is a joke and freezes without responding. Feeling embarrassed, Millie stands back up. Although Tim later says yes, the moment feels uncomfortable. That night, Tim apologizes for embarrassing her and explains he didn't mean to hurt her. Millie, however, questions their love and suggests breaking up before things get worse. Tim reassures her that they still love each other. When they go to bed, Millie says she sees strange people watching them. Tim looks toward the door and sees a crying woman, but suddenly wakes up and realizes it was just a dream. Later, Tim finds Millie outside preparing things. While unpacking in their new apartment, Tim notices a strange smell coming from upstairs. He follows it to the ceiling and climbs up to check, only to find several dead rats tied together. One of the rats is still alive, but Tim ignores it. Later that day, Millie starts her new job as an elementary school English teacher and meets her co-worker, Jamie, who kindly welcomes her. They realize they are neighbors, since Jamie lives across from their apartment. That night, Tim practices music, showing that he dreams of becoming a musician. The next morning, the couple goes hiking near their new home. They spot a strange bell in the forest that seems meant to guide people. After walking deep into the woods, they realize they are lost. Tim suddenly falls into a cave, and Millie follows while trying to help him. They are not injured but have no phone signal. Feeling like they are not alone, they decide to camp there overnight. They drink water from a strange pool inside the cave. Later, Tim opens up to Millie about a painful childhood memory involving his mother after his father died. Since then, certain smells have haunted him. They fall asleep, but a mysterious presence from the pool moves closer. Tim wakes from a nightmare where vines copy his breathing. When they fully wake up, they discover their legs are stuck together. They manage to separate and escape the cave, not realizing their skin was torn in the process. Back at home, Tim accidentally hurts Millie while massaging her shoulder. Later, Millie goes out to buy groceries, and Tim suddenly collapses in the shower. He starts having strong episodes whenever Millie is far away, as if her distance is affecting him. A doctor later tells Tim that he is suffering from stress caused by moving to a new place, and also mentions a couple who went missing months ago. Later, Jamie comes over for dinner and explains that the cave used to be a chapel for a strange New Age church. When Tim and Millie kiss, their lips painfully stick together. That night, Millie wakes up to find Tim choking on her hair. The next morning, Tim insists on going to his music gig, even though Millie wants him to rest. When they are apart, Tim's condition gets worse, and he painfully drags himself to Millie's school. There, their bodies get stuck together again. After another argument, Millie goes to Jamie and talks about her problems with Tim. Jamie tells her about his dead husband and talks about the idea of becoming whole. Later, Millie notices Tim secretly watching them. That night, she begins floating toward Tim without control. When Tim suggests returning to the cave for answers, Millie breaks up with him instead. That same night, an unseen force pulls their bodies together again, painfully fusing their hands. Millie gives Tim his muscle relaxant pills to stop the twisting and pain. The next morning, Millie ties Tim to a chair and uses a buzz saw to cut their fused arms apart. She goes to Jamie's house to get her keys and finds a video showing a ritual where two men are joined into one body. Jamie then reveals that he himself is a fusion of those two men. At the same time, Tim goes back to the cave and finds people fused into the walls, including the missing couple. He manages to escape by cutting himself free. Jamie attacks Millie, but she fights back and hits him, causing him to split into two separate people. Millie runs home and finds Tim about to cut himself so they won't fuse again. As the force pulls them together, Tim finally admits how much he truly loves her. Millie accepts what is happening, and Tim fuses his arm with hers to stop her from bleeding. After a long and painful process, they fully merge into one body. Later, Millie's parents arrive for dinner and are greeted by a single person who looks like both Tim and Millie.